Hi, I'm Caitlin Faust, and today I'll be talking about the effects of advertising on young women. In today's society, it's very common to see advertisements everywhere. They're on billboards, they're in magazines, they're on the television, and they all seem to be presenting one particular type of woman, a woman that is very tall and very thin. Now, you might be wondering why it is that women are feeling negatively affected by these advertisements, and a lot of it has to do with because these advertisements are presenting a woman that is not realistic. They're very tall, they're very thin, they're photoshopped to look beautiful, they have perfect skin, and there's a lot of things that are made to look as though it's perfect, and that's what beauty is. So when women are looking at them, at these particular advertisements, they're wondering why it is that they don't look the same way as the women do in the magazines. You know, why their skin isn't that clear, why they're not that thin, why they're not that tall. So they start to feel a longing in them, and they start to be feeling insecure, and they start to feel very down on themselves because they don't look the same way, and that is what is being presented as beauty. For this particular study, I took the time to survey a bunch of women through the social network Facebook, and I was very surprised with the different types of responses that I got. 21 of them did respond to the survey. And a lot of the questions had to do with advertisements and how they felt about their bodies in particular areas. One of the questions that was asked was, how often do you see advertisements depicting beautiful women and or celebrities? Very often had a 95.24%. So that pretty much shows you right there, just in that little bit, how often women feel as though advertisements are only being shown with these perfect women. For my other research that I did, I was very pleased with ProQuest and going into the different articles that I could find for this particular study. And one of the articles that I found was Love Your Body Day. And this particular article was all about women, a group of women taking the time to write about how women are beautiful no matter how they look. You know, tall, thin, short, fat, it didn't matter. And it's all about loving your body for what it is and not necessarily how it looks. So that was a very wonderful website that I found that was dedicated to women looking towards feeling good about their bodies and not necessarily how they look, but just being happy with what they are, with who they are and everything. So that was a really great source that I found. Through this study, I was very surprised with a lot of the responses that I got from the particular questions in the survey. Another question that I had asked was, how important is it for you to look beautiful? 52% of them answered somewhat important. So the highest amount was important, which is kind of sad to say because, you know, we're looking at how important is it for you to look beautiful in the eyes of advertisements and not necessarily what society thinks. This is what is made up in our minds to think that that's what beauty is. So these advertisements aren't necessarily telling the truth, and they're very fabricated. Another question that was asked, do you think that being thin is beautiful? Now, this particular question was very interesting because it did get different types of results. It was almost equal on each of the answers. So particularly the highest was a 33.33%, and that was a yes. Other was another answer that they could have had, and that was a 32.1%. And no had a 28.57%. So as you can see, it wasn't all equal, but a lot of them did feel as though to be beautiful is also to be thin. Another question that was asked was, do you think that society markets beauty to young women, and 100% of them had answered yes. So it is very clear that these women do feel as though advertisements are purposefully, you know, putting up these particular women in order to sell their products successfully, but I think in the long run they're actually kind of defeating the purpose, because women are starting to feel very insecure about their bodies and kind of feeling disgraceful of how they look because they don't look the same way as the women do in the advertisements. So this was a very interesting study that I was able to go through, and I really enjoyed learning all about it. I don't have much more to say, so thank you very much.